champion he will go towards. But again, it is Impaler being focused. You mentioned it earlier on. Elise and Pantheon already taken out by Gambit.
I wonder if they want to go maybe, 3 jungle bans and go for Vi or Wukong. Make sure Impaler's forced into his 4th champion. Over on the side of Supa Crew, that's 3 mid lane bans. These are champions that they've target picked Alex, who I just got it in my head he wants to run Lulu. And I don't know if those are optimal picks. We'll see if it works out that way.
Well, and we were looking at previous games before, and they talked about it against Fnatic, actually. Edward talked about it in the pick and ban phase and said, they targeted all 3 bans to Alex, and all he wanted to play was Zed, so maybe he's going to return to that one. Lee Sin was the final ban, so all 3 bans on Impaler. We'll see what the Super Hot Crew go with here. Wukong's a potential for Impaler.
Yeah, and I was going to say all of the supports are up. Your Thresh, your Leona, your Annie. Also, your farm-heavy mid laners for Moops is available as well. If he wants to go for a Ziggs, for a Gragas, anything along those lines, they're going to have their option. I think Super Hard Crew first picking Thresh not only denies it from Edward, who is a great Thresh player, I almost think Edward's going to go towards the Annie. We could see something like a Jinx Annie here, Lucian Annie, whatever Gambit wants to run for the AD carry and support, because when they get Jinx, Genja does really, really well.
Maybe after seeing Warwick being played yesterday again, Darian's going to be thinking about it. It was certainly played very well. As it is, Darian and Diamond making those choices. Long choices here for Gambit. Normally they're very quick and snappy at clicking them in, unless it's Edward, of course, who likes to go through Teemo and everything else. I
think, once again, with Super Hot Crew stealing the Thresh away and not revealing anything right now, they haven't gone for a Brave pick. There's not a lot that you can decide to go for. And if this Evelynn gets locked in, we talked about it. I think Diamond Prox has re-fallen in love with Eve, and he's doing phenomenal with her, so why not take it?
And I think after yesterday's bans against Genja, they've realized, you know what, let's just let Jinx through, because, well, he's just as good on anything else. And, his positional play is always top-notch in the fights. Not always there on time, but when he does turn up, he's well out of the way of danger.
When Gambit are even in terms of gold and power, then Genja's going to be there. But if they're behind, he likes to pick up that side lane farm. And I realize with the Thresh being locked in, there is no pressure on Gambit to lock in Annie. So using the first 2 picks to grab, like priority picks, like that Jinx, like that Eve, is smart and safe. We may see the Annie in this next round if they go for unless Gambit are feeling very brave and they want to go for their Kanan or their Mumu, which is something that we've seen Edward doing already this split.
Ooh, Kayle, of course, left open. We'll see whether the Super Hot Crew lock this one in for Moops. Of course, as you mentioned, Lucian. Well, it's a champion that Mr. Rallas has pretty much relied on to get wins for the Super Hot Crew and trying to carry them through. Thresh, Lucian, these guys, they get a lot of first bloods in that bottom lane. This is not a bad lane for them.
No, definitely not. And the early damage that Lucian puts out, in conjunction with the CC and the utility that Thresh offers, is just a great synergy. Having Moops lock in the Kayle, I want to see how he's going to perform on this Kayle, because I feel like he's stronger on those Ziggs and the Gragas, on those types of champions. But, like I said, it's quite a safe pick. Once again, Super Hot Crew, they're defensive. They can play reactively as well as going offensively. And if the game goes super late, as Deficio always points out, Kayle's Q stacks with a 1-to-1 ratio. There's instant burst that can come down. So Kayle can actually do a lot of damage to Gambit if this game progresses.
Will we see the giant troll once again from Darian in that mid lane? We saw it yesterday and it worked very well for him. We'll see, of course, what else are we going to have here?
There's a smart choice in the Kayle as well, because it reduces the likelihood of seeing a Zed. Because you've got that intervention available, it already reduces some of the assassin-y type champions you want to go for. Kha'Zix is available. Kha'Zix is open here for Gambit if they want to go for it. But again, Kha'Zix into Kayle, it's not really a matchup you super want to go for.
They finally locked in the cow. We are at last going to see Alistair in the European LCS. We've seen it in North America, and I've been thinking, God damn it, when will we ever get this in Europe? And Edwards pulled it out.
Well, we'll see how this works out, because I think, once again, the early sustain that you're going to get from Alistair's heals, as well as the utility you get from the knockups, is great. I'm actually not sure how the Jinx Alistair is going to work against Lucian and Thresh. It's a matchup that I haven't seen before, so I want to keep my eyes on it and see how it works out.
Well, as it stands, Tristana being thought about for that top lane, and you think didn't work out that well for SK Gaming when they tried it in the top lane. Maya maybe thinking of running it here up against the Trundle. Instead, it looks like it's going to switch it. And of course, Renekton is currently focused on as well by Mr. Rala, so that probably will be. And the jungler, well, Vi, of course, for Impaler.
Yeah, so he's going to finally default back. When you see at least Pantheon and Lee Sin banned out, there's not a lot of options left for you to default to. However, if anyone's going to have experience on this champion, it is going to be Impaler. I also really like the synergy of that Vi plus Kayle. I think being able to throw down that intervention and saving your teammate as he goes into the fight is going to be very, very smart. And I want to see what Gambit, they lock it in.
They locked in again. It's going to be another Lulu for Alex. It's second game running.
So with this in mind, I really feel like Super Hard Crew have wasted their bans here. I think listening to the way Alex spoke about it and the way he played yesterday, you could theorize that if you banned out Jinx and Eve, you could have had more favorable matchups because these are champions that Gambit have been destroying with. And with the amount of damage that's there from Gambit, plus the wild growth from Lulu, I think it's great. Both of these teams are going to be very reliant on their laning phase. If they can get ahead, they have all the tools available to stay ahead.
Well, I just feel that Gambit, every time they come into this picks and bans phase, and actually reading what Edward wrote about the Fnatic game, they don't come in with a fixed plan. They come in with a giant champion pool that everybody can play and simply say, what do you fancy playing today?
Do we need damage?
Do
Go
we
for
need
Cannon,
anything?
no problem.
Why not? Let's just pull that out. But it is going to be a couple of new picks once again for Gambit Gaming. Of course, the Troll in the top lane, Lulu in the middle, and the Cow down bottom.
And I also think that on the side of Gambit, they're struggling a little bit maybe in wave clear until the later stages of the game. They're going to be very reliant on Lulu to defend towers until Jinx has enough attack damage and splash from her rockets and max level to actually clear the waves out. So under a siege situation, I think that the defensive lack of wave clear could potentially hurt Gambit if they're ever caught out there.
Well, of course, before we get into the game, let's see who you guys have cast your votes on. And well, no surprise really, 94% of you voted squarely on Gambit for the win. That's a pretty big number.
Truthfully, seeing how Gambit played yesterday and seeing how utterly obliterated the Super Hot crew were, I think that is a justified vote. However, in picks and bans, it is definitely not that one-sided. In picks and bans, it is a lot more even, and both of these teams have the tools they need to get ahead and actually stay ahead when they're there.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we move into the game. The Super Hot Crew starting out as the blue side, and Gambit Gaming as the red side, of course, following their badge and emblem. So, what do we make of this? Will we see any early aggression? The fact that there is an Alistar on the map surely gives Gambit a giant advantage.
Yeah, it definitely does. If they want to go for any form of invade, you do not want to get caught up by that pulverize of Alistar. He's just going to knock you up into the air and lock you down. However, I'm not expecting it. I think teams have really gotten used to this safe level 1, so to speak. And I want to see, how Super Hot Crew find their way in. I do think we need to keep our eyes on Impaler, though. He was unable to have any sort of impact against Millennium yesterday, and he responded late to all of Arenea's movements. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him to respond to Diamond Procs, considering that Eve is going to be difficult to track.
Well, we've also seen a couple of face checks before, and Mr. Rallis is very close to Genja in that bottom lane, but they are in the bush. Alex just spamming out that laugh in the mid lane up against Moops.
What I also think I would have liked to have seen from Super Hot Crew is potentially going for a lane swap. Something that you can do against Eve, if you go for that 2v1, you initiate it, you can almost force Diamond's hand to help defend the tower of his solo laner, or try and 3v1 push. So you minimize the number of options for Gambit to move. If they're going for the straight matchup, it's going to be more difficult to find and track Diamond Proc. So we'll see how Super Hot Crew play these first few minutes.
Well, Ward's coming out. It is Gambit not going to be going for any type of invade this time around. And well, look at that. We have a pause. This time around, it looks like it is Moops for the Super Hot Crew. No, it's Impaler having discussions. Looks like it might only be a quick one, possibly a client restart.
Well, hopefully this can get the matter resolved very, very quickly. I think, once again, slower laning phase for Super Hot Crew. I feel like they have the potential to get kills in their duo lane. But, Kayle versus Lulu at low levels is not going to be super explosive, I don't think. And I also think the Renekton versus Trundle, once again, the onus is on Mima to get a leg up. But again, not really going to be kill potential against the likes of Darien. So, slower laning phase unless Diamond is able to make something happen with that Eve.
And I'm really interested to see how this bottom lane works, because Mr. Rallis and Mixer are a good partnership. They work very well together. They have got themselves a lot of first bloods. And Edward, we know, is generally fairly aggressive in his playstyle. But alongside with him, Genja, maybe they're going to go overstep the margin a little.
Yeah, whenever you play Alistar, you run the risk of overstepping. It's much like Leona in many ways. You have to all in. And if you miscalculate your time on when you engage or when you pick that fight, you run the risk of being shut down. The one thing that does sit in the favor of Gambit, however, is the fact that Edward's Alistar has got that triumphant roar, the heal. So once he starts to skill that up, he's going to be able to sustain Genji's HP as well as actually the minions in lane, making life a little more difficult for Super Hot Crew in the opening stages.
So Impaler starting off on that blue buff. Blue buff start for Diamond as well. He will be going away. Impaler didn't really get much help on that one though, whereas Genja and Edward, of course, in that bottom lane, gave him a lot of help, and then straight away we're seeing some aggression.
I want to see if Mr. Raz and Mixer get an early level 2. Because of the fact they've got a little bit more time in lane, if they clear all 6 and get that first minion, they may be able to start a fight, but I think they're just trading a little bit of damage back and forth. Pretty good so far.
And Edward took the heal, looked like, first skill, so he's not going to have that headbutt pulverize as we get into level 2, so Gambit immediately realizing they're going to play a little bit more cautiously here.
Wait, not level 2 yet, they don't even need it!
They don't need it, they're going full on for Genja. Can they land anything more on him? The Ignite was used, and he does not go down.
I think if Mr. Raz and Mixer had a tiny bit more patience and had Death Sentence available to them, they may have been able to get the kill. But Mixer managing to get a lot of damage on Genji, just forced him backwards, and it was talked about. As long as Edward's got mana, he's going to be able to heal Genji up and keep him in lane a little longer.
It is a great utility player, Edward, on that. Oh, and Moop's taking a good burst of damage from Alex Ich. We'll see how he stands his ground this time around, because Alex Ich, well, on that Lulu, is a big lane bully, and you can see he's actually zoning him out. Just flash for it!
I can't believe that. I completely underestimated the damage of Lulu in lane, and we know she's a bully, but Moops just got melted by those glitter lances and the health picks, melting his HP.
However, Flash Ignite used by Alex Ich, Flash just used by Moops. So jungler's going to be focusing that middle lane, that's for sure. Meanwhile, in this bottom lane, of course, Exhaust was used earlier on by Edward, and Flash, of course, by Genja, but he did still have barrier available. Top lane pairing. It's a top lane pairing we've seen pretty much almost every game now. It's starting to become commonplace.
Yeah, Mundo and Shyvana a little bit less favorable, and we're seeing the Renekton and the Trundles more frequently. Trundle's still going for that flash teleport. Darien, however, builds his troll differently to everybody else. He tends to rush the Ravenous Hydra as his first item, go for that massive wave clear. It's what he's done yesterday, it's what he's done a few times.
Going a little aggressive, maybe taking a Wonder Ward on towards the Wraiths there. Wraiths have been taken, and Diamond is up in that top area. Maybe going to try and go aggressive on Alex Ich here. Ignite is available on Moops if they need it, along with Flash for Impaler.
Yeah, he needs to land the Vault Breaker though. Alex does not have that Flash available. Got to move speed, they caught him.
They caught him, the Q comes down, there's a lot of aggression. There's the Ignite, first blood goes to Moops.
And that is very good on a Vi. Vi's low-level ganking is not necessarily the strongest, but when you add the red buff as well as that brief knockup from the Vault Breaker and the slow coming down from Moops' Kale, they had more than enough damage to kill Alex. So good play, and that also replies to those summoner spells burned in the first trade between those two champions.
Well, you can see Genja almost back to full health, of course, because Edward just continuing to keep that heal going, ticking on towards him. And quite happy to just keep on trading back and forth, and they've already kept very even in terms of CS, despite that early pressure from the Super Hot Crew.
And that's a testament to Genja and Edward, I think. Being able to play defensively under the tower, Genja being kept sustained thanks to Edward's great heal and mana management, really. I mean, he's sitting there above 50% HP, considering Genja was dropped so low so early on. And we'll see how they play this one out, because the kill potential is going to be a little in favor of Super Hot Crew, because I feel that Thresh is going to be able to poke a little harder and put more threat if he gets a good death sentence down.
Well, Alex back in lane. He has still kept that CS advantage over Moops, but of course that kill will give him a giant chunk of gold. Diamond going wandering, looking down towards his bottom lane.
Doesn't have his buffs available, so no red buff on him. The wave's too pushed. I mean, really, unless they're going to tower dive here on the side of Gambit, there's not much that Diamond's going to be able to do, and I think wisely he's backed away. Mixer and Mr. Roll's just doing the best they can to continue controlling that lane, maybe even setting it up for Impaler to come in to invade and set up a gank. Moops is a little bit deep up this wave, and Diamond really wants to get in. But again, there's not a lot of CC with the exception of Glitter on slow.
I think they're going to try and go for it, but look at Impaler just drifting past the vision of the top area, going towards the zone jungle. Diamond is still sticking around here, trying to leak some of that experience out.
Notice the positioning of Alex. Every time Alex moves further down the lane, Moops backs away. I think Moops is, I don't want to say reading the situation, but he's aware that if Alex comes in to try get a Glitter Lance or a health picks down, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. And once again, as soon as Alex moves forward, Moves backs off.
And just caught vision of him there as well. He did hit level 6. Darian, meanwhile, in this top lane, he's going to get stunned down. Mima putting damage on towards him, and Darian having to use that ultimate to keep himself alive.
Mima won the trade, 1v1, but he hasn't got a big CS lead. We've seen in the previous game how Renekton is able to generate a CS lead. Freddy did very well in that particular game. Darian, once again, used the subjugate, survives, gets away, but hasn't lost anything yet.
Of course, Darian yet to go back and buy. Meanwhile, Mima, of course, had gone back, got that pickaxe and long sword. As it stands, we do see yet more invading. Blue buff's going to be picked up here for Alex Ich, but Impala's doing a great job of really pushing Diamond's jungle.
Yeah, Diamond hasn't had much of an impact in this early game. The only gank we've really seen has been from Impala. It worked out. Impala is now level 6 with that Assault and Battery, so we'll see what he decides to, when he decides to use it. Mima, very overextended.
Well, you say that, but actually they're making great use of the vision, because you can see Impala constantly putting them wards down. He knows exactly if Diamond's there. Unless he comes directly at him, he's not going to be able to see it.
And on top of that as well, there's not a lot of roam threat from a Lulu. So even if Lulu does come up, she's going to take a little bit of time. She's not super scary. They've caught out Edward.
The hook on Edward. The flay's not going to follow. Chompers came down. He took a good burst of damage. Meanwhile, in the jungle, we do see Impala going on towards Diamond. Oh, didn't quite catch the Vault Breaker on towards him. And instead, it's going to be the Wild Growth. They're going to try and turn this one around. We do see Mima coming around. Assault Battery on towards Edward. Alex Ich having to flash away through that one. Diamond as well backing off. Darian did come down to sort them out. It's going to be a 3v2, 3v3 for the red buff. Super Hot Crew, very aggressive start.
Gambit still have Subjugate as well as Agony's Embrace available, so Super Hot Crew stay stacked up. They are at risk of being killed. That's a very good pink ward to give them information about when Gambit are coming in, and Gambit want this fight. We do see that Mima is going to be very important. He's going to start.
Diamond uses his ultimate, tries to catch him down, but look how low he's already gone. He's going to get knocked down here. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Mima gets on him, pops an Infinite Duress. Oh, sorry, Infinite Duress is going to be going on towards Alex Ich. Oh, he's going to get stunned down. Alex Ich goes down as well. Mima doing work.
That was very well played by Super Hot Crew, and it all started several minutes ago when Impala baited Gambit forward. He pulled them into him, pulled them towards him, and then Super Hot Crew just collapsed on Gambit. Because the intervention was still available from Moops, they were able to win that fight, get a massive CS lead, or massive CS denial here in this mid lane. We'll see if they focus the tower down. I almost feel like it would be better to let it just kill the minions. As it stands, Super Hot Crew going to back away. Diamond's going to farm up the XP and most of this gold damage.
Going to keep that pressure on the tower. Can they take it? First tower of the game. And well, 9 on a 3,000 gold lead for the Super Hot Crew, of course. What I meant was dominance in that fight. Infinite Duress. Well, Warwick, you know, I've been seeing a lot of him lately. He's expecting Gambit to play that one instead. It is a fantastic start from the Super Hot Crew.
So they've got themselves a 2,500 gold lead. They've got the tower down, which is going to allow Moops a little bit more freedom to get aggressive on Alex. And they're going to need to start challenging for dragons. I think Gambit is much stronger at dragon control and dragon timing than from what we've seen from the Super Hot Crew. So I'd like to see Super Hot Crew getting some vision and setting themselves up to pick a fight. I mean, look at this. Darian is teleporting down to set up for this dragon, and Super Hot Crew, they're a mile and a half away. Nobody can really respond quickly.
Yeah, they've only got 2 members here, and it's the bottom lane of Mr. Riles and Mixer. We're finally seeing Moops return into lane, but they're way far away from this one. Maybe going to try and get some cheeky steal, but I'm not too sure. Will the Cullen be able to do it? Doesn't manage to go for it instead. Tries to snipe it out, but not going to happen. And Diamond secures it with the smite.
And then that's just good reading of the game. Gambit realized that Super Hot Crew had backed away, allowed them to grab the dragon. Mima is also once again denying the CS, denying the XP from Darren. He's gone for that Tiamat as his first item. So again, trying to go a little bit aggressive, and he's going to win this fight if Darian sticks around.
Darian doesn't want a part of that one. Instead, he's going to get stunned down, take some damage, and that turret very low. Mima could just take this turret and push on towards Darian. You can see he's already in trouble. Impala comes around the side. This could be kill number 4. Turret goes down. Assault Battery on Darian. Darian's going to try and run away from this one. Gets slammed once again. Pillar of Ice not going to quite be enough. They can dive on towards the tower. Darian's going to go low. Diamond comes in. It's just about enough for Darian to run away.
Yeah, no ignite. So that means Mima was unable to pick up the kill. Mima is a lot more powerful than Diamond is right now. And look at this, he's picking it.
Diamond in all sorts of trouble. Mima just chewing down the health of Diamond Prox and single-handedly melts him on the turret.
That is a 3-0 Renekton that basically 3-shotted Diamond Prox. He's got a good amount of HP to work with, and with that Tiamat already built up, he's got damage and lifesteal. Gambit Gambit are going to have to invest a lot of resources to shutting Renekton down, and Mima needs to rotate for the rest of his team. If he can make those plays and those kills happen in team fights, they're going to be in trouble as Edward's caught.
Edward hooked, but manages to headbutt Mixer in towards that tower, has popped his ultimate. He should be able to walk away from that one. Mr. Rala's going to try and use anything it can. The Cullen not really doing as much damage as he'd like, but Genja's already taken a burst as well. Every lane is going well for the Super Hot crew so far.
Very well played indeed. They continue to grow that gold lead. They've got a tower advantage as well, and they've got very good vision. You touched on the fact that Impaler was placing wards in the red buff area of Gambit, allowing Mima to play aggressive, allowing Mima to get in the face of Darien, and it's working out. Because of the vision, they've got a lead. Now Edward is looking to set up a fight. Diamond has not been spotted yet. He's sort of just a green ward though. I think that with the vision of Super Hot crew, no CC's landed, it's going to be very difficult for them to make this engage.
Diamond trying to create anything he can, but it's just all backfiring so far on Gambit. Darien also took a bit of a burst from Mima in that top lane while that was happening, but again, they're pressuring on towards that tower. Mima just doing what he can, keeping chipping on towards that tower. A lot of damage going on it. Continuing the hook on towards Edward. Edward doesn't have his ultimate available this time around. Has to pull right Mr. Mixer. There's going to be a pull in there. Oh, not quite. There's the range. And a great flash from Eddie.
Yeah, on top of that, Genja putting down the Flame Chompers meant the moment Impaler got pulled in, he just got instantly rooted to the floor. If Genja had been like half a second later on that spellcast, it would have allowed Impaler to get the channel down on that Assault and Battery. There's a little bit of vision by that Tribush for Super Hot crew, and you see Impaler, he knows he's not spotted, he knows they can't see him, so he's hanging around trying to set something up. Assault and Battery into Death Sentence is a guaranteed kill on the side of Super Hot crew.
And you know what? They could have pushed for it, but instead they're choosing to back away. They're realizing they're winning out that lane, and they want to keep Gambit in that lane phase a little bit longer. Mima, while he's just gone back, now he's completed the Sunfire Cape along with that Tiamat. He's going to be really troubling Darien now.
He already was, and it's even more so. I think that the key for this, for Super Hot crew to take advantage, however, is to maintain control of this jungle. Look at this, they're stealing the Wraith Camp away, setting up for this red buff, instantly available for them, so they're going to steal red away. But look at it's 3 members of Super Hot crew on this invade. There's a line that Gambit used to say, if you're going to, counter jungle, it's your teammates that help the jungler counter jungle, and that is exactly what Mima and Moops are making happen right now.
And Impaler, you saw him at the top of the show. He was almost looking up to Diamond like he was his superhero or something. He was just thinking, oh my god, this is the man I've been watching for the last few years in the LCS, dominating tournaments. But Impaler has really taken it to Diamond's jungle. He's doing a fantastic job. He's been invading constantly, he's been warding constantly, and now we're taking the red buff, taking those wraiths, taking everything from Diamond's own jungle.
You've allowed Impaler to play arguably his strongest jungle champion. Elise, Pantheon, and Lee Sin were banned out. It allowed Impaler to go back to the champion that got Super Hot crew the spot in the LCS. It's what he used to defeat MYM, and when people have banned it against Impaler, he's struggled a little bit, and he's doing very well. He's a small amount of CS behind Diamond, but that's not super relevant right now because the presence he's had has been very strong. And look at Mima, because of the ganks and the control, this tower is going super low.
And actually he's got to be careful, he can't push out too far, he's already used that ultimate, and Impaler is pushing in towards this top lane. They're going to be waiting for Diamond, they're expecting him to come help, but he is way down in the bottom of the map, and Mima may well just shove on towards this tower. Here he goes, on towards Darien, going to get the Smoke Breaker on towards him. The Assault Battery used, Darien trying to tank out, has to flash away, running, and hello Moops, free kill, thank you very much. That's going to be the top turret as well.
These 3 members of Super Hot crew can basically win the game for Gambit because of the way they are working together. This synergy is great. Impaler delayed on the engage. He slowed down the fight because he was waiting for Moops to get closer. When they realized that Darien was overstaying the welcome, Impaler jumped on the opportunity, and after burning the flash, Darien just gets killed by Kayle, which is ideally the perfect member to grab that kill gold in that situation, working himself towards that Lich Bane right now.
So, dragging up in 30 seconds, and honestly, I don't see Gambit in any situation to try and contest it at the moment, because Super Hot crew really have driven home every single advantage they've had in this lane phase. The fact that they've got 2-0-2 on Kayle, the fact that Mima is a tanky, damaging warrior in the top lane really is causing Gambit all manner of problems.
So I said to Super Hot crew, maybe giving Lulu, allowing Alex to get Lulu may have been a little silly if they wanted to ban the other champions, but they appear to have a very clear strategy. If you can control Eve's jungle, she's less scary, and that's what Super Hot crew are doing. They've committed to a lot of their resources to their red buff. Now, Super Hot crew started Dragon. Diamond is looking for a kill in the bottom lane. Dragon's going to go down before Diamond can get in range, and now Diamond may get caught out. We'll see how Supa Crew reacts.
Quick dragon, and well, Diamond caught in no man's land between the two. Instead, he's going to walk, face check in towards him. Mixer backing away from this one, not wanting it. Dead sentence. That was very close, and with 5 members of Super Hot Crew down this bottom lane, they surely have to back from that turret.
Definitely. There's nothing that Gambit can do to defend this one as a 3-man. They are letting Darian and Alex try to push the wave as quick as possible, but this is going to be tower number 4 for the Super Hot Crew, and they're going to carry on pushing.
And they're not done yet. You can see driving forward. Darian with a teleport in that top lane, continuing to farm out. Alex comes across, but already gets put off, and that's going to be an assault battery on Diamond. Mima flashes for it. A wild goat's going to be used, but is it going to be enough? Subjugate used. Diamond going to try and turn this one around, but quick hot comes in, and Diamond Rocks goes down. It's 6 kills to 0 for the Super Hot Crew.
Super Hot Crew need to get something more out of that kill. They invested ultimates, they invested summoner spells, and yes, they got a kill on Diamond, but Darian grabbed himself a tower. Losing 1 for a tower, I think, is a trade Gambit will be fairly happy with, and it's their first tower of the game. Super Hot Crew, unfortunately, maybe getting a little kill hungry. I think I maybe would have preferred them staying in that lane and trying to siege the tower down. Regardless, Super Hot Crew go 6-0, got a 5k gold lead, a 3-tower lead, and they've evened up the Dragons at 1-1.
And looking across the items as well, of course, that gold lead reflects across them because Super Hot Crew, with that pressure, are making it count on Gambit. They have pushed that top lane. They have taken down all the outer turrets right now. Inner turrets are the next focus. They need to start pulling pressure across the map because Gambit are not a team to sit and rest on their laurels. If you put pressure on them, they generally will bite you in the butt.
Definitely the case. And we talked about how Genji tends to be a little late to some of these fights in the mid game. We'll see Diamond going to get challenged for his blue buff right now. Assault and Battery's not available. Impaler is very confident. He's picking this, but he's got super outnumbered. He's now in trouble.
He does manage to go in there. Smite was won by Diamond. That will take it away from Alex Hitchto, but the rest of Gambit coming around the corner. Can they get themselves the first kill here? Super Hot Crew starting to group up. They're going to go for Edward. Edward having to use that ultimate to try and push them out there. Does manage to get a headbutt pulverized on towards Mr. Rallis. Mr. Rallis just over the side, putting the pressure on towards Gambit. You can see the culling coming out. Diamond does manage to back away from this one, but they're focusing on towards Genji now. Genji taking low. Moop's going to try and put the damage on towards him. Mr. Rallis follows through, gets himself the kill on Genja. Alex Hitch coming around the side, but look at Moops, he's found Edward and Diamond. They're in no man's land. They're going to turn back on Alex Hitch. He's taken low. The death sentence hook, beautifully done from Mixer, and that's going to be a Impaler picking up kill number 8, and now Edward's in trouble. Mr. Rollis is focused on him. Where are you running, Diamond? You got nowhere to go, and Moops is chasing him with a speed buff of his own, but he has managed to go invisible. Oh, he got spotted out. He just got spotted out. Moops will pick up the kill. Oh, will he? No! Diamond gets the first kill for Gambit. It will be to no avail. Mr. Riles will close it out, but would you believe Super Hot Crew taking it to Gambit?
Super Hot Crew grabbed themselves 3 kills over the course of that engagement, and they played it so well. Edward tried to set up the fight. He jumped into the middle of the Super Hot Crew with that Alistair ultimate, the Unbreakable Wall running. Once it timed out, Gambit needed to bail out quick, and Super Hot Crew just chased them down. Mixer with the hook through the wall, letting them pick up the kill onto Alex was absolutely phenomenal. And I think we're going to catch a replay of this one. This is the engage that was near the start of the fight. There's the hook. Past the wall, catches Alex. I mean, brilliant awareness. That was also anticipating the speed buff of Luna. When she threw down her whimsy on herself, she gets that movement speed increase, and great play by Super Hot Crew.
Well, 20 minutes into this game, I was not expecting to say that Gambit are 6,000 gold behind Super Hot Crew. A fantastic start for the Super Hot Crew, who themselves had a pitiful game yesterday. In fairness, it was disastrous against Millennium. Can they turn this game on its head and take it to Gambit? 94% of you voted for Gambit, and right now, it's not looking good.
So Super Hot Crew are looking for a pick onto Alex. You just see the strength of that Glitzer Lance while the minions are in a nice straight line. Glitzer Lance alone could be enough wave clear to allow Gambit to defend towers and stay relatively safe. However, if Impaler and Mima can use their ultimates together, get onto Alex and maybe pick up a kill, like under a tower dive or similar, that could be Super Hot Crew's way in, because there's not a lot of wave cliff from the rest of the team.
Pressure from Super Hot Crew on towards his inner turret. Darian is off at the side. He has got teleport available. Look how quick they're churning this turret down. It's going to go down. And would you believe it? Nothing that Super Hot Crew, Edward, going to take a little poke there. Zap comes out from Genja. We are seeing Darian backing off, but Super Hot Crew just walked in, took the turret for free.
Yeah, and that was the exact problem that Gambit have right now. They don't have a Ziggs or a Gragas or something to splash damage the wave away. To be fair, Super Hot Crew, outside of the Lucian and Kale, don't have the strongest themselves, but they've got a 6k gold lead. They're in the position where they're sieging towers and forcing Gambit to react. Mima continues to split push. He is so strong right now that nobody from Gambit can 1v1 him, and the rest of Super Hot Crew are staying tightly knit, keeping their vision up, and trying to look for kills. They're going in on Alex, they've got him!
They're going to try and catch him down. There's nothing he can do about that one. When you're caught by 4 members of one team, you cannot escape it. They've got a big stack in the top lane, though.
Baron.
They've got no objectives to go for other than the Baron.
Now they have very good vision around this red buff. They're going to be able to pick this one up relatively safely. They've got so much damage grouped up, and Mima can run interference for them. This is a great pick for Supa. They wanted Alex, they got Alex.
They had a ward in the back, but it's been cleared out. Nowhere to teleport for Darien now. He's going to have to get something down, and look at that. Mima single-handedly taking Diamond well out of this game. The headbutt pulverize will come out from Edward. They're trying to run interference, but Diamond can't get close. Mega Death Rocket's not going to land. He finally does enough damage, but again, wow, 22-minute Baron for the Super Hot Crew. And now Diamond, you are dead. Oh, he's going to be able to get the speed buff. Does manage to run away.
Mima wasn't able to chase him down, but he did get the Agony's Embrace. We do see Alex's respawn, so I think Super Hot Crew, they're going for another objective. They want the Dragon this time around. They are going to be so wealthy right now, all sitting at 1,500 gold already before picking this Dragon up. And this is going to give them such a strong item lead. Darien might get caught. He gets away.
He has to run fast as well. Snowball coming out from the Super Hot Crew. It is nigh on an Avalanche with a 10,000 gold lead. I did not expect to be saying that in this game. Gambit themselves are on a 3-game win streak, trying to chase that #1 spot. They would take it if they were to win this game and take it away from Fnatic, but wow. Super Hot Crew, a loss to those would be not something Gambit will be happy about flying back to Russia.
And something that is so important to note here for the Super Hot Crew, the kills are on all of the carries. 3 kills on Mima, 3 kills on Moops, 3 kills on Mr. Ross. When these fights are happening, they're even getting the gold to the necessary players, to the carries in their team. They get a strong early and strong mid game, but now is the toughest job. The toughest task is getting onto those inhibitor turrets and closing it out. And for a very, very young team like the Super Hot Crew, we'll see how they handle it. I'm expecting a tower dive with Impaler, Mima, throwing themselves in an intervention on the relevant target. If they get a kill quickly, that's how they win the fight. But if they don't get that kill quickly, it's going to be a little difficult.
There is almost a 3,000 gold lead by Mima over Darien. He's really bullied out that top lane. Maybe putting an end to the debate about Renekton versus Trundle, because he is just single-handedly bullied it. Impaler, of course, has helped him quite considerably in that fight himself, and you can see across the board all those gold leads being picked up. Big advantage as well for Mr. Rales up against Genja. So, fantastic start to the game, but as you mentioned, how are they going to end it?
Yeah, I really think the tower dive is the only option for them right now. Looking at the items very quickly before these next fights break out, if you look at the top lane there, Mima's still sitting on that Tiamat. He's got a Banshee's Veil completed, as well as Moops with the Lich Bane now. We see Mima coming in from out. They got Diamond!
Diamond is in all sorts of trouble. Mima comes around the side. Wild Growth having to be used with the chompers to just keep him safe, but that's an ultimate burn. Just trying to save out that jungler who, honestly, after yesterday's fabulous game, 4-0-12 he ended. He's on 1-4-0 right now. This inhibitor turret is going down.
They don't even have minions right now, but they're going to continue this siege. As this wave catches up, with the Baron buff regen, Super Hot Crew are in a very, very good position. They didn't burn any ultimates in that last little catch, and there's no wild growth for another 30 or so seconds. Continuing to get auto attacks down, this is going to be a very big fight.
Chomper's separated off the side, but Mr. Rales doesn't care about that. He's focusing the inhibitor turret. One more hit will do it. Impaler just straight assault the battery up towards Genja. Alex is caught out here. Mima's all over him. He's going over like a rash, and Genja goes down. Edward trying to do what he can, but Death Sentence closes that one out. It's 3 kills and an inhibitor for Super Hot Crew. Incredible performance.
They might even be able to finish. They've got so much help to work with. Intervention is still available for Moose. Super Hot Crew are on the Nexus turret.
What the hell is happening here, ladies and gentlemen? The Super Hot Crew, they take down one Nexus turret. They take it down the second Nexus turret. They are going to beat Gambit Gaming on stage, and this is incredible. 25-minute game, 13 kills to 1. The Super Hot Crew have done it.
I cannot believe it. That was utter destruction. Gambit had no reply. Mima, Impaler, and Moops. 3-man Gambit's early game. They invaded, they had vision control, they controlled Diamond's buffs. And this entire audience was stunned in silence.
What a performance, ladies and gentlemen, by this young team, taking the Gambit All-Stars really by complete surprise. I will say, to their credit, in-game, there was GG well played, good sportsmanship between the two, and everybody standing up, shaking hand, as you should, as a team. But that really is going to shock Gambit Gaming. They were looking to try and take the #1 spot. Instead, they're suddenly slipping well away from it.
And you know the scary thing, with the exception of the Lulu, pick, Gambit were on their come for champions. I mean, okay, Alistair as well, I guess. We can throw that in there. And he was available. I don't think it would have made a difference. It's a similar sort of play style. In lane, however, Annie would have given you more strength. But it wasn't about either the mid, really, or the bottom lane. It was just Mima invading with Impaler so early on. Mima got 3-0 on that Renekton. And he made that lead count. They were not afraid to challenge Gambit on everything. And they won most of those challenges.
And, you know, it falls back to the old adage. Don't let Impaler on by. He's got 100% victory. And now that he's done against Gambit, I don't think we're going to see it for the rest of this split.
No, I really don't think you can. I mean, I have to say as well, every single member of Super Hot Crew did well. Mr. Rolls and Lucian, he cleaned up so many fights once the fights happened and he was involved. I think Mixer, that is a hashtag LCS big play if ever I've seen one. That death sentence hook over the wall, curving the bullet around the wolf camp to grab Alex. Very, very good play. I'm blown away. This is something SK did on Friday last week. They just surprised me. They really exploded in their games. And now Super Hot Crew just exploded in today's game.
Well, crazy stuff. You know, 1-year-old birthday for Alex Itch's child. And he wanted to celebrate it in the interview. He was quite confident that he was going to get it, but it's not going to be. It's going to be the Super Hot Crew we're going to be speaking to. What a performance.
I was overly critical in picks and bans, and I wondered if it was smart to give the Jinx and Evelyn away. And I think the way Super Hot Crew handled Eve is a little different to what we've seen. They had heavy red buff pressure, and this is something many teams can watch and learn from. If you're playing against an Eve, Diamond's Eve in particular, good vision control in the jungle and good counter-jungling presence, it really kept Diamond down.
Fantastic, fantastic game. We're going to be stepping off the Rift for a moment.